Welcome back, everybody. We're about to throw on a smoked meatloaf. May even stuff it with something. Stay tuned. So you're just going to add your meat to a big bowl. We're going to start with a half of a cup of Progresso breadcrumbs. I like to use the garlic and the herb, especially on meatloaf. The meat there is a 90-10 blend, which seems to do fairly well and keep its shape. I'm going to add the breadcrumbs, and then we're going to take 2 whole eggs, and we're going to add those 2 whole eggs into the mix. So just crack them, drop them, and then move on. We'll get it all mixed up here in a minute when we get all the ingredients into it. So you got your 2 eggs in. Next thing we're gonna add is ketchup. So a 1/4 cup of ketchup. We'd like to use either Heinz or Hunt's. It's fairly thick, so it kind of holds together. Some of the store brand cheaper ketchups don't, and it makes it a little bit more runny. You can use those, but just remember that it might be a little bit runny. Then just add about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of your favorite rub. We're using the Meat Church Holy Cow in this instance. Then about a tablespoon to 2 of W sauce. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. I use Leon Perrins. Mix all that together. So you just want to knead it with your hands, get it all the stuff mixed together, and then you're going to start pushing it towards the bottom to try to get it to basically gel together. Makes it easier to form in the end. So just push that around, push it down into the bottom of the bowl. I pick it up, toss it down, flatten it out, and it works. So once you get that all mixed together, we're gonna form that into a loaf. So you wanna have it, basically it's kind of wet, like doughy feeling meat. So you push it down, get it together, and then we'll lay it out and get it stuffed. I just use a big cutting board and push the meat down onto it. Just smash it down, kind of like you're doing a pizza dough. It's about, at this point, it's about a 1/2 inch thick or so. Don't worry about the shape, because you're gonna get it lined out here in a minute anyway as you get it stuffed. We'll shape it up. I use string cheese to stuff it with, the mozzarella string cheese, just put that in the middle. You know, take from the edges, it's a little bit thinner, and push that in between and flatten that out. And we're gonna have 2 layers of these cheese sticks in here. So once we get this one layer flattened out, we'll put another layer of cheese in there. So continue to take the edges, kind of forming a square as you go and shaping up what you got going on. I want it to be really, really packed in between to hold together nicely. So I'll take some meat and get it covered up, smack it down, and go from there. Get the second layer in there, push it in. Should have some more edges that you can pull from. They're a little thinner, push down, and then we'll get this packed in there and then shape the loaf. You can use anything in the middle of this. I chose the cheese sticks. You can use blocks of cheese. You can put onions. You can put anything you want to in the middle. Then just take from the sides and start pushing forward over the top, and then the same thing on the ends. You just basically taking that flat and forming a loaf. Hit it a few times to make sure that it kind of gels together. What you want is basically a football when you're done, kind of a football shape, a loaf. Should be real smooth, shouldn't have any real sharp edges. That way the smoke can flow right across it. Get that thing into a loaf, and it will be ready to go on the grill. So after you get it packed and you get it firm in place, I used one of these veggie type trays that you use on a grill. The holes allow for good smoke penetration. You can use a flat pan, you can use some of those tin pans, but that's what I use. It just allows for better penetration of the smoke, in my opinion. Get your rub and get you a good coating on the outside of your meatloaf. It'll help you get a better bark. And then we'll get this thing finished and get it out on the grill. See you out there. We're gonna put this on the smoker at about 250, 265 for about 2.5 to 3 hours or so. We won't even look in on it for about another hour. So see you in about an hour. Got an hour in on this meatloaf. Looking good. Internal temp's about 120. Looks like we've got about another hour on it. All right, we're about 2 hours in on the meatloaf. Let's check it out. Internal temperature is about 135. It's getting there. We'll add the topping here in a minute. We'll go in and make that topping and come out and slather it. For the topping, we're just gonna take ketchup, quite a bit of ketchup. We're gonna mix it with some William Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. And then the barbecue sauce of your choice. We use Sweet Baby Ray's in this video. I usually make quite a bit of it because I like to dip my meatloaf in it as well as having a topping. So I use the topping, make enough of it for the topping and to have some left over to be able to dip it in. Get you a fork or spoon or whatever you use and mix it real well. You want it to have the consistency of basically just globbing off the fork when you get it mixed together. You want to make sure that thinner sauces are mixed in well with that thicker ketchup. Mix it until you get the consistency that you like and that you're able to brush it on, and we'll get it out to the smoker and get that on there. So we'll just take it, slide it out. We have a brush. I like to brush it on really thick, glob it, and then brush it smooth. You can do it in 1 or 2 layers, maybe every 10 or 15 minutes, come out and put a thin layer on it. I like a big, thick layer on my meatloaf. So we'll get that knocked out and get it in there for about another 20 or 30 minutes to give that time to harden up on top and make kind of a glaze. This is a personal preference. Get as much or as little on there as you want, or don't even use it. It's up to you. I like a little ketchup glaze on mine, so this is the way we're gonna do it. Be the last step before we get this thing done. Need about another 20 or 30 minutes or so in the smoker, and we'll get her finished. While we're waiting on this thing to be done, if you guys have not subscribed yet, take a minute and subscribe, hit that bell, and do us a favor. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up. Meatloaf coming on right along. About 3.5 hours in. Internal temp's about 156. Just about done. About to take it off and let it rest. Give it another 5 minutes or so. So we took it up to 160. That meatloaf is down. So we're gonna pull it. Got juice squirting out of that thing. We'll take it easy, let it rest, cut it open for you guys to see. See you in a minute. All right, we're gonna cut into this stuffed meatloaf, see how it turned out. Oh yeah.